Hey, Lordy, look at the time.
Empowered.
Welcome back to another episode of the M-PWRD Podcast. Today I am joined by Mel. As always, I'm going to stick it over to you, Mel, to just tell everyone a little bit about what it is that you do, and then we'll get into it, ask some questions and get to know what you do a little bit better. So over to you.
Okay, hi, I'm Melissa. I run 2 beauty salons and a training academy and also a new supplies brand for beauty and nails as well.
And what's it called, just for everyone who's...
It's called Allure.
Allure. Where did you come up with the name?
Actually, I've got a story.
Okay.
So I'd quit a few college courses.
Right.
And found accountants course. And I was setting it up on my phone and things in class. And everyone at the time was setting things up called Beauty By or Nails By. And I was like, Nails by Melissa. And I was like, it's going to have to be something beginning with an A, because my mum always told us about the yellow pages. And she was like, you need to be at the top. So I was like, I need to think of something with an A. And I remember like doing my work and stuff and keep getting wrong because I kept going on my phone to like Google names. And I always remember my acrylic that I first got was called Attraction.
Right.
Called NSI Attraction. And I was like, oh, what is attraction in Spanish, French, different languages? And attraction was French.
Allure was French for
yeah,
attraction.
Allure was
nice
French
one.
in attraction. So that was the acrylic I used, and then that was like attractive nails.
Right.
And then I thought, brilliant, I've got the A.
Yeah, it's just a nice word as well, isn't it? I feel like those kind of nice words that you see are quite synonymous with the beauty industry. Like, it's just like a kind of nice feminine word, if you know what I mean, as well.
Yeah.
So
and I don't think it matters now about having the A, but back then, your mum told us it was.
Yeah, that's interesting. That it came from wanting to rank in the yellow pages.
Yeah.
So you were doing nails at college.
So I was doing nails mobile whilst at college.
What were you studying at college?
I've studied everything at college. I just dropped out of a different one. So
Right.
I did like business at first,
Okay.
and that was like 2 months. And then I did accountants, and that was like 2 months, and dropped out. And then I did also a dance course at Newcastle College as well.
Right. But then you found that your
dropped out of that as
passion was more... Okay. So that's the theme. So did you do an actual nails qualification when you started? Or
Yeah, so the background of finding nails was because I got a phone call off, like, when you leave school, and the education department sort of rang my mum and then put us on the phone and things like that, and was like, you've dropped out of 3 college courses, like, what are you doing? And you're now classed as a NEET.
Yeah, not in education
and/or training.
And/or training, yeah.
And I didn't know what that was, and I felt a bit embarrassed. And I was like, what's a NEET? And my mum was like, right, you need to get off your arse and do something now. So I was like, yeah, like I'd quit everything. And then I was like, well, I'll just get a job. She was like, you can't just get a job. And I was like, well, I'll just get an apprenticeship. So I was like, right, looking on, like doing interviews and things for apprenticeships, drove to one, crashed my car. Then I came back, didn't go to the interview. And then my mum sat us down and was like, seriously, what do you enjoy? Like, why are you quitting everything? What do you enjoy? And I was like, well, I'm so excited for my nail appointment tomorrow. She was like, so you like nails? And I was like, well, I like getting my nails done. And then she was like, right, going to Sally's, let's get a nail kit. Obviously, my mum was a hairdresser, so she had the trade card.
Right.
So I got a nail kit and literally was like, what do I do with this? This is amazing. I'm going to do my own, da-da-da. And then my mum was like, no, you need to get qualified. Let's find a course. So I went online, found no courses in the area at all, no training, didn't know where to go. And the closest one I found, which was like good reviews and things like that, was Manchester.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I was like, wow, like there's nowhere for people like me to train in beauty if they're just interested in one skill rather than doing a 2-year.
You can do the beauty therapy qualifications at college over 2 years, but you didn't have the best track record at college.
Yeah, so and I found I got bored very easily of things. And I was more practical, hands-on. I didn't really want to do massage. I didn't really want to do like hair, and it was always hair and beauty.
Okay.
So I was like just interested in the nails at this point. So that's when my mum was like, okay, well, we'll get the trains, we'll get the hotel. But like my mum had savings, so like people who didn't have that would be like where they're going to go,
Yeah.
like how they're going to do that. And then you have to pay for the kit, then you have to pay for the course. So everything on top was like really expensive. So like luckily my mum had like saved up and she sent us down and things and came with us, was my model and things. But that was literally one element. So that was literally acrylic. But then there's like gel, builder gel, e-file training, you know, infills, soak off removals, all these different methods, pedicures, just for to be a nail tech. So
Yeah.
it's really expensive, not to mention all your trains and hotels. So that's why I thought, well, we need this in the Northeast. Like, what about other girls who are young like me, who don't like really going to school and don't like sitting in a classroom? Like, what are they going to do? Like, what if they don't have parents who have savings to take them, you know, on a train and stuff? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Or even the know-how. So obviously you said there that it was lucky that your mum was in the industry, so she knew where to take you to Sally's to get the kit, to, you know, have the know-how to say, well, we can look for a course and things like that. If people don't have somebody in their support mechanism that has any idea where to start, then it's back to square one. I think it's interesting though, every time I speak to people, whenever they've kind of set something up, it's usually to fulfill a need that they didn't found was met elsewhere. So like you were saying there, you know, there wasn't a course to do in the local area. There wasn't a course which covered all of the things that you needed to get set up. The only options were go and do something at a college which didn't necessarily tick all the boxes for you, was gonna, you know, wasn't specific, so you were gonna lose attention, because, you know, doing stuff that you're not passionate about in order to be able to do the one thing that you are passionate about seems quite redundant now, when you can just focus on one thing that you actually really, really care about. So it's interesting that you say that, because that comes up time and time again. I was really passionate about something. I didn't feel like I was able to do it myself easily, so I found a way to do it myself, and then I found a way of supplying that for other people. And that seems to be most people who I speak to who've kind of went down that education route. It's very rarely their love for education that leads them into education, which is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you'd think, oh, why do you do a job? Well, I love doing it. Whereas with education, it's, well, I hated it, so now I'm doing it. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
And like, I struggled with this, so I'm going to provide that in a different way and not let others struggle the way I did, type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems that most people that I speak to who've set up education businesses, it was because they didn't enjoy their education, as opposed to because they loved it so much they never wanted to leave. Yeah,
I agree.
So
they want to like give other people a different experience, maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the best way of being able to put something together, because you can center it around the student experience because you're conscious about it, whereas a lot of courses aren't really centered around the student's experience. They're centered around what the outcome is, or what like needs to be done to hit the requirements for the qualification. Whereas I was explaining to you the first time we met, well, not the first time we met, because I think we met when we were like 16.
Yeah.
But the first time we met recently, that people don't want to do a course. They just want to be able to download the information into their head. So if there was an option where you didn't actually do the course, you could just get all of the information, people would do that. So it's about detailing the end point, the destination, as opposed to colleges who do the equivalent of trying to sell a holiday by showing you the inside of an aeroplane. Whereas really, if you want to sell a holiday, you want to show the white beaches and the you know, the coral and the sea.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you feel like you're showing people how to actually be a nail tech and not to do a nail course?
Yeah, I feel like when they enter and they've never been in the salon before, I feel like they're like, oh, so this is what I can do with this, you know? Mm-hmm. So I feel like they love the environment and they're like, yeah, this is what I want. Like, they come and they book on without realising that, I think. But then when they are actually there and we introduce ourselves and what we've done and how we started, and they realise that we were just the same as them, then when we began, we created something, you know. Yeah, so
fast forward to setting up the actual, so obviously you done your actual qualifications. What happened once you were kind of qualified? Where did your journey take you from then?
When I was qualified, I invited all my friends around and was like, guys, free nails. I need to get like content. At the time, I don't think it was content. I think it was just like, let's post pictures on Facebook and like on my personal page, and then it was like, I'm going to print out business cards.
Nice.
So it was like, right, Vista print, like, you know, put me pictures of me nails on these business cards and put them in the local newspapers shops. Like, do you know what I mean? That's how it was. Anyway, it was just like, come round, I do all your nails and I need me practice. So it was like that. And then they would sort of go and show their friends, and then it was kind of like, oh, can I get mine done? And I remember my business card actually had my mobile number on. It's still my mobile now. Right. So I hope they're not floating about because I just get... But, like, I just used to be inundated, like, at one point, just with, like, text after text after text. And I was just like, I need to create, like, a Facebook page now and put everything on a page. And then I couldn't really stick at college at the time because I was, like, doing college, waitressing and nails. So then I was like, right, something's got to give. So I quit the college again. And just did nails mobile and word of mouth. Best form of advertising, word of mouth, course. Isn't it?
It still is.
Still is.
Yeah.
Definitely. If someone sees something like, can I have the number?
Well, I think that's the misconception people have. Like, word of mouth has always been the best way, especially in self-employed industries. It's just that word of mouth now lives through a social platform as opposed to just people talking at the town square.
Now it's like reviews and TikTok videos, and you're still trusting their opinion.
Instagram stories, and you know, you've seen your friend go there. That is just word of mouth. People want to go somewhere that they know that other people have been there. Yeah. So yeah, focusing on making sure that everyone's got a good experience is probably still the best way of doing it. Yeah. Interestingly, another theme which always comes up, the first thing you did when you got qualified is you got all your friends round and you did their nails for free. Yeah. And I think that's something that is really important as an educator to inform people about, is that once you qualify, you need to get, you know, a good bank of portfolio evidence. And the best way to do that is to do things for free. And I think regardless of what industry people are in, every single person I speak to who's successful and set something up has always started off doing more than they were paid for. So like doing stuff for free. Do you feel like you found there's more of a reluctancy for people doing things for free now when they get started?
Yeah, I think you've got to be sort of in a financial, sort of like a comfortable place to be able to do that. Like, I lived at home with my mum and dad, whereas I feel like now it would be more difficult because obviously the mortgage rates and everything that everyone's struggling with. So I feel like, you know, if you said to yourself, right, I'll do it for a week, it probably may be more doable than like, I'm going to do it for a month.
Of course.
But I didn't have children, like I didn't have like an expensive car. Like, I think if you do it at the beginning when you're young and you don't have all these overheads and things, I think it's more doable. But the advice I give now on training courses is, you know, even if you get something and do it for, even if you spend 3 hours on a set of nails and you get £5, like if you just say, can I just have, you know, like £5 for the product or something like that. And if you're not in like a way of like a financial situation where you can say, I'm going to do everything for free for like the next 2 weeks, because you might have invested a lot in your kit, you might have got children, you might have got, but I mean, if you can do that, like if, you know, your husband can take over the bills for like 2 weeks or something like that, then like that would be even better, because more people are going to come and then more people are going to show your work off, and then, you know, more people are going to have word of mouth circulating.
It just gets you out there, and even like a really reduced rate or something like that. But I think, what about whilst people are doing their course, trying to do as many people in that time while they're kind of...
Yeah, so that's something that we say. So like the students come in on a Sunday and we say Monday to Friday, you need at least one model in. What we find now is a lot of our students have like full-time jobs alongside of doing their new training course. Yeah. So we'll say like, you know, something realistic, like Monday to Friday, get one model in every single day. So you've got 5 models in before next Sunday. So you've done 5 models in that particular method, gel polish, you've done 5 gel nails this week, literally because the information is set in stone on the Sunday, they can go in on the Monday and, you know, get the models done with that information that they've learned on the Sunday straight away. If they wait 2 weeks, they've forgot loads of things.
So that's why it's good to get the straight away. Right. Okay.
That's why I say make sure you've got your kit, because if you wait for deliveries and things like that, like you can't get started, and then you'll just put it off and things will get in your way. You'll get distracted. they need to have everything set in stone and start the Monday or even the Sunday night.
Yeah. And do you feel like that's your methodology because of how, from your experience of education, if things weren't stimulating you in the way that you wanted them to, you found it hard to engage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I feel like if you don't start instantly or you don't do something instantly, you'll get sidetracked.
When you've got the bug.
Yeah, you've got to have it like there. So like I would always have my kit out. I wouldn't really put it away and like put it somewhere. I would always have like my kit out. So anytime I had like the motivation or my friend was like, I'm free, I'd be like, right, jump straight in.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to do it like instantly, I feel. Well, that's what I'm like anyway. Like as soon as I have an idea, I have to do that there and then.
Yeah.
I can't wait because then I'll just procrastinate and not do it.
I think that's, good for any habit, really. If you want to make something a habit, you got to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
So if it's inconvenient to do that thing, then it's going to be harder to make it a habit. If you want to be practicing something, then you need to make it really easy so it's just available to you straight away. Whereas if you, and actually I was, interestingly enough, like even I was speaking to Carly, because we both know your sister.
Yeah.
You know her because she's your sister, and I also know your sister.
Yeah,
I'll rephrase that.
Yeah,
you've seen her before. But she was saying like, when she was practicing to be a dancer, she would do the splits when she was cleaning her teeth.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So like she wanted to practice. Whereas if you say, right, I'm going to practice doing the splits for half an hour a night, it'll roll round to it and you'll go, oh, forget it. Whereas you're always going to brush your teeth twice a day. So if you brush your teeth twice a day for 5 minutes, I don't know if that's the recommended amount.
Yeah, she would do her makeup in the splits.
Yeah, because she's always going to do her makeup.
She's going to do her makeup, so she thought, why not do it in the splits?
Yeah.
Every single day, and then I know I've done it.
And I feel like when you're practicing, especially when you're learning something, kind of stacking those habits on top of each other, because there is a lot of people who want to get into a new industry, and there is part of the courses that we do, and it's you're trying to like work with students to overcome barriers, because like you said there, people have got financial commitments, people have got relationship commitments, people have got family commitments. Yeah, exactly. So it's
other jobs, even other full-time jobs, like nurses. A lot of nurses come and train in nails.
Right. And it's about finding out how they can look at the barriers that they have to being able to get into something new and get into a new industry, and make it so that their training doesn't get in the way of that. It kind of seamlessly fits in, and trying to think of an individual learning plan for that person to be like, right, well, you get a break. You get a break on these times. Could you be doing like a bit of reading in that time, so that you're already at work? You might usually be chatting in that time, but if you're serious about moving industries and actually doing something that you're passionate about, it's going to take sacrifice at first.
Yeah.
Is that something that you kind of try and instill in people as well, that this is going to be, if you want to do this properly and if you want to actually make a really good living from this, it's going to be hard?
Yeah. So we will set them a goal. We will set our students like a goal instantly. As soon as we're introducing the course, we'll say, you need to get 5 models in this week. It's case studies. Like your information, your kit and everything is all there for you. So just set yourself a realistic goal of 1 model per day. Or even if you do a night shift on Monday and you can't fit them in, then do 2 Tuesday if you're off Tuesday. Just ring round your friends, put a status on Facebook, put some stories on Instagram, announce it to the world that you need models and you need to practice. And we'll set a realistic, we can't say, okay, you need to do 30 models by next week.
Yeah.
Because we know we're students, we know our audience.
Yeah.
And our audience are maybe full-time working mums who, have housework to do and won't understand their commitments, but to make it work, they do have to get that practice in and start building up a client portfolio as well.
So you mentioned there about, you encourage them to get stories out there, stuff like that. What sort of emphasis do you put on the social media side of things? Because obviously I came from the fitness background, but beauty and fitness are quite synonymous when it comes to their reliance on social proofing and being good at social media. You can get away with being okay at the job but amazing at social media, but you can't really get away with being amazing. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work vice versa.
No one would know about you, really.
Yeah, exactly. So what sort of advice do you give people then on that?
So we actually have a snippet in our course where we do content taking. So we will get out all the ring lights and we'll get out all the backgrounds. And some of it might be like a flower background, some of it might be a plain background, some of it might be a leather background, and we'll show the students and like, oh, so this is how people take their photos. Because if you're a nurse and that's what you've done since like school, you're not going to know about all of this secret,
all these lighting tricks.
Yeah, you're not going to know about even how to make a reel maybe. Do you know what I mean? They've never had to.
Yeah.
So, we do a lot of social media and business building on the courses now as well. Not so much when we first started, because it was like set up a Facebook page. It was like put your work out there. Whereas now it's like you need to download this video and edit an app. You need to make sure that there's no cuts on the nails. Like for instance, like I've got this horrible big scab on my knuckle.
Is that from fighting?
No. Yeah. But like I wouldn't take a photo of this hand.
If there was two hands to choose from, which there usually is,
it would obviously be
it would
this
be the
one.
other one. Okay.
But some people who've never like done anything around social media for work wouldn't understand that. They would take a photo of that hand.
They don't think about it.
They might not think that way.
Yeah.
Naturally. So that's what we have to teach.
Yeah.
So I would explain this and say, look, there's an app that you can actually get rid of this with.
Yeah.
And you're not editing the nails. You're not editing anything to do with the nails.
Yeah.
You might just do a really banging set of nails, but actually someone's got a sore, or they've got like a scar, or they've got like, I don't know, they're getting laser tattoo removal.
And you don't want to take away from the nails that you've done, because that could make somebody look at that and then just keep scrolling. No, it like making sure there's no clutter in the background, making sure that it's like
some people might naturally take a photo and be just completely focused, tunnel vision on the set of nails that they've done. But in the background, there could be clippings of nails and there could be clippings of nail dust. Do you know what I mean? Like there could be a messy background without them actually realising. So that's something that would delve into on the training courses as well, because we'll just slot a piece of paper in with, something pretty in the background. It used to be like glitter backgrounds. You would print out like a piece of card and like cover it with glitter, and then you would have that as your background. Whereas now we've evolved a lot more, and it's more like trendy.
Right.
It's not as much holding the diamond and stuff now.
Right. Okay. So did that used to be it, holding the diamond?
Yeah. Now it's like minimal.
Right. Yeah. Just like a bit more. Well, I think most kind of fashion things go in trends, but I think everything is a bit more like minimalistic. People have got like more kind of beiges and nudie colors, and just like I feel like that's the kind of vibe at the moment. So it's not just good. It's good then coming to someone like yourself, and this is why I think that working with practitioners is really, really important, because you're in the industry and you've got the people who work with you are also in the industry. So if they were learning at college, they're probably learning from someone who used to be in the industry. So they're not showing you the up-to-date methods. They're still showing you the diamond. It's still the glitter in the background. Whereas because you guys can go, no, this is what we're doing right now. So most classic education falls behind the curve, because
that's so true.
You're waiting for a book to be printed. The book was printed in 2015. The information in theirs we're waiting on, results back from peer assessed studies, and we're a few years behind what's actually happening in the world. So when you qualify from maybe a degree or something, the course that you did was built at least 3 years before you did it. And in some industries that's too late, because things can move on drastically. So the fact that you guys are still actively practitioners in the industry means that you can just give people the stuff straight away. That's actually new. Oh, this just came out. Like, we just got this information from the supplier that they're sending out this new thing. So we're going to teach you that. You're not going to teach them something from 5 years ago. No. And you're not going to get them to do something that you wouldn't do now, or that isn't working now.
No, because it just wouldn't be natural. So like if we've changed something, we've evolved a service, and like we have actually, changed something because it didn't work, I couldn't actually physically teach something that didn't work, because it would show. Yeah. So yeah, like as soon as we've changed something, me and Anna will have a discussion and we'll say, right, on the course on Sunday, we're going to teach it with this new fine liner brush, because it gets it so close to the cuticle. Like the colour. So that would make sense to us to teach that straight away, because then I'm like, the students are going to love this. Like, this is going to make their life so much easier. Or like, we'll say something that some, nail salon in America is doing, which is obviously why the internet's so like good, how we can see what everyone's doing in the industries across the world now. But yeah, like we'll see something, we'll go, oh my gosh, we need to try that. That's new. And then we'll do it, and then we'll find that it works amazing. And then we'll pass that straight on to students and all the team in the Lure salons as well. But yeah, like it changes. I would honestly say that we change things like monthly. Yeah. Probably even not like fortnightly.
Well, you have
There'll be something that comes in like at the minute. I don't know if like people have seen this, but a brand, like a clothing brand, and a lot of brands are doing this now. They're posting like nail videos and things. It's quite cool actually. And they did this new one where it's like a magnetic gel polish where you put the magnet on and then you put a paper clip on, it turns into a heart. Obviously Valentine's is coming up, like it's so cool. And instantly we were like, we need to buy this magnet, we need to buy the gel polish, we need to do all this, we're going to get people asking for it. So straight away on our next nail polish nail art workshop, we're straight away going to be like, guess what we're teaching today? The viral nails from TikTok, which is like the magnetic heart, and they'll all be like,
so that's another thing, like how much does social media in the other way influence what people want?
Like instantly, like someone will just bring in like a TikTok of like nails that we might not even have the colours of yet, but we'll have to like mix the colours. So we'll try like overall in Allure, the brand, would try not to ever say no. Yeah. So that's something that we'll like instill in the salons and in things like that. So we'll try and basically give everyone what they want as much as we can possibly do. If not, next appointment, we'll get the thing in that you need. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's if really it was something like a neon pink, glittery, magnetic colour that we actually didn't have it in, we'd have to say, can you do this next time, and we'll do something that we've got today and we'll get it ordered today. Like that's something that we're big on. Yeah. But I think that's what makes our brand stand out, and I think that's what makes client experience really like a cut above the rest. Because I'm just like that as a person anyway. I don't want to be beaten.
No, so it is so important to kind of make sure that people get the experience they want, or at least that you're kind of going out your way to do that. Because I think in terms of customer retention, going above and beyond, like people do remember that, and people do think about that actively. Because if somebody's like really went out of their way to do a good job or try their best, even if it wasn't, even if you didn't have the colour in, or even if you didn't have what they had in, just even saying, look, I'm going to get that ordered, blah, 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 so that we've got it for next time. And in future, if there's anything that you're interested in, why don't you just message us ahead of time, and we can... I think that sort of attention to detail is the difference between staying in business for a long time and getting to the top of the game. Because I think so often people kind of get... people have always got a lot going on. It's not easy to run a business. It's not easy to be working with people day in, day out. And it can be easy to think like, oh, we just don't have it, and then forget about it. You'll forget about it, and maybe they will subconsciously, but it'll be at the back of their mind when they're thinking about it again. They'll think,
Yeah, I think with it being quite a competitive industry as well, they'll be like, well, I know someone who will get it in. And I think we would never want to be falling behind. Yeah. We'd always want to be like, oh, well, I know that where I can get it, it would be Allure. Yeah. They'll get it in first.
I think that's definitely something that people are trying more in business, to try and make sure that they do cater to so many different needs. Yeah. Whereas in the past, it was kind of like, this is what we do. Now I feel like there's more emphasis on reaching like a wider audience and making sure that you do have stuff in which is going to be suitable for everybody. I mean, how have you seen the industry as a whole change? Do you feel like it's more saturated now since when you started?
I feel like everything has changed. It's got harder. Okay. Everything has changed in terms of, it depends. So like for me, I was acrylic solely, and this is why I go back to, like, basically, like, you have to give people what they ask for, because basically I was all acrylic and I thought this would never change. I thought everyone wants acrylic, that's all they want, like, they want extensions, what long-lasting hard nails. Then Builder Gel came on the market and I was like, do I train in Builder Gel? Do I not? Is it just going to be a phase? Like, do I need to invest in, like, a whole new collection? And straight away I was in this position where I thought I'm going to have to reinvest, or I'm going to have to, like, lose loads of clients. So I think that's where I go back to giving people what they want, and if someone asks for it, try your best to do it, because acrylic did like,
yeah,
it did go, like, you know,
yeah,
like, really, really low, like, what's the word? Like, it didn't, no one asked for it.
Right, it was just people didn't want it anymore.
Yeah, like, it went
word?
out of fashion.
Right,
yeah,
well,
that's what I'm going to try to say.
I feel like that's you know, testimony to what you were saying about the social media thing, because if a video goes viral and has like 15 million views on TikTok and everybody's coming in asking for that new thing, like, people will switch like that. And if you aren't willing to be malleable and change your offering to suit what people want, then somebody else will. And
then you will fall behind and you will lose business.
And there'll always be something like...
I think it's a stubborn way to think that if you think that, you know, everyone's just going to come to you forever in what you do, because times move really fast, faster than ever, I think, now with social media and everything. Like, people are into something one week, the next week it's over and done with, it's old news, and they're into something else. And I think if you want a successful business, you really have to keep up with that.
So can that be a worry then as well, that obviously something could have a high, you know, cost to entry? Say, for example, if there was a new technique that came out, and I'm not going to try and pretend that I know any of them, but say there was something new that was, like, very different to the other ones that you have, could that then be an issue, because people might spend time and money training to do that, but then it only lasts 2 months and everybody's back to acrylics?
Well, the foundations of, like, nails are, you want them to last, you want them to look natural, all that. And I think acrylic is one of, like, the main, like, foundations of where to start. And then I think Builder Gel and gel polish, and I think it'll always be them three, but depending on what's more popular, it'll be, like, where you have a successful business or not, and what you're trained in. Because I think if you train in Builder Gel and you don't train in acrylic because it's not as popular, and you don't train in gel polish, you will have one one type of clientele who are just Builder Gel. But then what happens if all of them clients now decide they want acrylics? Or a percentage do.
Or if there's something new that comes out, which is something that comes out which looks a certain way, and to achieve that look, you have to be able to do acrylic, because it doesn't work on Builder Gel, for example. I don't know if that's how it would work, but something might not, like, work like that. I mean, you get in barbering, like, it was really popular for everyone to get skin fades. So everybody was, like, getting skin fades, and then some barbers basically didn't learn to, like, cut hair with scissors very well. So when, like, longer styles are becoming more popular, like tapers and things are becoming more popular, it's harder because they haven't been doing that. I was just speaking to my barber, and he was mentioning that basically, that everybody wants to be able to do, like, this new thing, but then eventually everyone will want long hair again, or everyone will want,
like, it comes round and roundabouts all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is important, really, to keep up with the market.
And do you think, is that something you try and teach your students about as well? Like, how do you teach them to be conscious of what's happening and to do their own research and things?
I try and, teach this in the social media and the business element of the course. So I do see, anything that is coming on your social media feed or coming up and things, you do have to take notice of, because your clients will also be watching that. If it's got, like you say, 15 million views, and it's like a nail picture that everyone's tapping into and liking and commenting, you probably will have someone next week asking for it. So it's probably best to keep an eye on them things and stay up to date. But if you literally want to go into the nail industry and you want to be like, do you know what it is? I'm only doing colour, I'm only doing French. There will be also a clientele for that. I just mean, like, in terms of, like, our brand and our salon, because we have such a massive clientele of everyone wanting different things, we've made it harder for ourselves, because that's our clientele, and they will keep up with the trends, and that's good for us because it keeps us up to date. But for us, because we're not just one-on-one and working from home or anything like that, we'll have to have a range of elements for people to choose from.
But that's good because you can buy like a whole bunch of things and people can kind of tap into them, as opposed to just being one person who would have to buy a massive, when you don't really use that often, you don't use that often.
Yeah.
So there are advantages. So, you know, you've set up a training company, you're delivering to people. What's it like when you're having to kind of explain to people who thought that they were becoming nail technicians that in fact that is a section of what they're doing? They're also having to become researchers, become marketers, become salespeople if necessary, you know, understand finance. There's so much more to getting into an industry like that than just being able to do the nails. And if you neglect the other side of things, the marketing, you know, you have to become a photographer, you have to become a videographer. You have to become a video editor, you have to be able to go and do the research. There's so much that's covered in it. What's the kind of, is that a shock for people, or do you feel like they understand what comes with it now?
I think at the beginning, it was a shock to people because I think people maybe thought it was quite easy to get out there. Whereas now, I think with social media, I mean, on TikTok, it's a little bit more easier now because it's such a new platform. But I think with Instagram, I think the big accounts and then when new ones are coming in, you sort of stay at the like 600 follower mark for a while. And then it takes something to blow up. Yeah. It takes a lot of practice. That's something we instill in the courses, but at the same time, back when it was first, you know, like coming on the up and coming and like everyone was making reels and things like that, I think people didn't actually understand how important it was. And now that they see it and they see someone on social media, I think I want to be like that. Now, more often, people come in and go, yeah, I know I'm going to have to make reels. I know I'm going to have to take good photos. Like, I know I need good background because that's what they've seen down the feed when they've been interested in getting into the industry. But before, like maybe 3 years ago, we obviously had the training academy 5 years now. Things have developed really fast in them 5 years. Like, I don't think reels were a thing. I don't know if like TikTok was big. Like, I don't know what was huge at the time. I think it was more like Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. And now there's obviously a bunch of other platforms that everyone's into. But I definitely don't think people were making reels and things back then. So I think that was a massive shock.
5 years ago, we'd only stopped. Videos had only been a thing on the platform for a couple of years. At that point, it was kind of, I think around about 5 years ago was kind of the start of IGTV. Yeah. So reels weren't even really a thing then.
And I don't think people moved to IGTV very fast.
It didn't take.
Sort of now.
Yeah, IGTV didn't take. But yeah, it's interesting. You know, when we're delivering social media, we always try and teach people how to understand it rather than how to do it, because I think that if you understand it, you can understand where the trends go. Yeah, TikTok is a good place. Like, TikTok lives are a good place to get good attention now. TikToks aren't as good as they used to be, so actually posting to TikTok aren't as good as they used to be. Photos are actually doing better on TikTok now.
The swipe along photos now.
Yeah, reels are doing better on Instagram than they used to be. So, you know, within a 2-year swing, photos are doing better on TikTok and TikToks are doing better on Instagram. So it's not necessarily about like mastering something and sticking to it. If you do that, you'll always get left behind. It's about, you know, I call it cheap real estate. So where's the cheapest attention that you can get? Where can you do the least amount of work for the most amount of attention? It's like, you know, it's like buying property in the early 1900s in London. Great idea. Keep it for 100 years. You'll be a multi-millionaire. But it's like, it's understanding where that is cheap now, and it's teaching that to students. So it's like, look, I know it's not about Instagram, it's not about TikTok, and in 5 years' time, there'll be a new platform. And we don't know what that platform is called yet. It might exist now already and just not be popular. It might not be at all. So it's just about teaching them to be conscious about what is going to be the next big thing. You know, Instagram might start getting pissed off with TikTok Live stealing its thunder and bring out a new feature. It might bring out a feature on WhatsApp where you can communicate with people. You know, Twitter might invest very heavily into some sort of live feature or some feature that you can make money through. So it might be a case of taking everything and moving it over that side. It's just one of those things. the academy then. Talk to me a little bit about how and when you went about setting it up and what the kind of setup with your academy is.
I actually set up the academy as soon as I set up the salon.
Right.
Which was probably taking on too much at once. But I thought it was going to be a really lengthy process, which it was, because you have to get, all your accreditation, you have to study for your teaching certificate, and also you have to get the facility all ticked off by the regulators and things like that. So I actually thought it was going to be really, really lengthy, so I spent a lot of time doing that when I set up. And I think we set up the salon in the March, and then we did our first course in the September. But I thought, let's go full steam ahead, because everyone's going to be like, oh, new salon, oh, and training academy, whereas there's going to be a lot of attention on a new salon anyway.
Yeah.
So why not bring the
Capitalize
academy
on that.
along with that?
Yeah.
Rather than being like, okay, I'm going to set up the salon, and then like a year later, the academy, it's not really
you
going to be...
compartmentalize them, and you take you've got the Rolling Stone going when you've got that, and then if you're just offering additional stuff, then...
There's not as much focus and attention, I don't think, apart from when there's something like really new. So like if it was a new location, that was the academy or something like that.
Yeah.
But I thought with it both being the same venue, I wanted to get as much attention and, focus on them being both together.
Yeah.
Because then people would be like, oh, did you know it was in training academy? Oh, this new place, this salon. Oh, yeah, it's a training academy as well. Where there wouldn't be as much chat like a year later.
Yeah, of course. It would just be, it's probably there'll probably be another salon opened between then.
Yeah, and maybe they were doing training, and maybe they took the attention for the training. So
yeah, so you wanted to kind of strike while the iron was hot. So yeah, I mean, in terms of setting up for commercial training, there's not as many hoops to jump through. Once you've got your accreditation, once you've got everything in place, you send the documents, which don't really need to change. I guess if you were kind of new to that, then it would probably seem a little bit alien.
Yeah, I think for who we're credited with, they want to stick to rooms that are like, kitted out with the best quality, like training gear and things, because there's a lot of places that might teach nails, but they might not have certain things like parking or like the latest extraction or the dust and things like that. So I like that they requested things like that. But there is other accreditors and regulators and things out there that, don't particularly care about those things. So that's why I actually feel really proud that, what we got from our accreditors with that ticky box and the guild accrediting courses was like a higher level.
Yeah.
Because we got a facility where we can provide, classroom like training rather than just, in someone's back garage or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes a big difference. And I think that, the perception that the students have of how serious the setup is it affects how engaged they are as well. Yeah. Like if they come into somewhere and it's aspirational and they're like, oh wow, this looks really nice, these guys are doing it properly, it sets them up as well for their career, because most people learn by example. So if you're setting a good example of how to carry out the actual delivery and stuff like that, and it's just a nice learning environment. I think from being involved with learning for a long time, the more kind of slick you make the learning process, the more it kind of sticks with people as well. Like it helps people learn. So the better environment you kind of create for them, the more likely they are to come back for more courses, tell people about it. They're actually proud to have qualified there. So, you were saying there was a lot of hoops to jump through for your qualification to get accredited with that awarding body. And that made you proud to deliver that qualification, because you're like, well, not anybody can do it. Whereas if they're going to somewhere that's like really professional and stuff like that, then they're proud to be like, I learned there. And they're more likely to spread the word as well. Yeah,
it's more trusting. Like I feel like you're going to, trust in what that person's saying You're going to listen and you're going to carry that out through your treatments as well, and your delivery of how you're going to deliver a service and things like that. So I think if I got taught from someone who looked successful and they presented themselves nice and their facility was presented nicely, I would be like, yeah, I'm going to listen to everything that they say. I'm really interested in what they've got to say.
What have been your like takeaways then from getting into education? What kind of came as a shock? Has there been anything that's kind of you didn't expect it to be how it is, or is it exactly what you thought it would be?
I think the range of different kinds of students' backgrounds. Maybe, does that make sense? Different kinds of
you get
background?
people from all walks of life, don't you?
Yeah. So like I would introduce the course and then we would do a little like icebreaker, and the icebreaker sometimes would be a bit like, oh my God, like I didn't know, I don't know, like some women might be like into engineering and they might want to come and do a nail course because they're sick of engineering, but I'm like, that's just mad to me, because I just wouldn't have known that someone in engineering would have been interested in doing a nail course. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, probably that. And then maybe just like the ranges of the ages as well.
Yeah.
I really like that. To be honest, I thought a lot of people from leaving school would join, because I think that's obviously what I relate to, is like not knowing what to do after school. But then I actually taught some students who were in their 50s.
Yeah.
And they were like amazing students, like so interested, like really willing to learn, like, and they decided like at that age of doing like a career for like 30 years that they just want a total change.
I think there's something so nice about that as well.
Yeah.
I think that you get that more and more now, where people they've done something different and now they're just like, I want to do something that I'm interested in, and giving people the opportunity to come to a safe space and learn something new and try something different that they're genuinely interested in. And there's literally nothing stopping people as well. I feel like you just do see it more and more, whereas it might have been even taboo back in the day to like go and retrain.
Yeah.
I think especially in like adult education, people would be so surprised at how many career changes you have. And it's not necessarily people transferring careers from, you know, a low paying job that they hate. You know, I've had people doing personal training courses who were earning well over six figures, but it just had enough. It wasn't fulfilling them anymore. They had done a job that they got paid very well, but they didn't feel fulfilled, and now they want to go and do something they love. And I just think that's as nice an opportunity to give someone as it is to get somebody kind of on their feet who wants to start their first career, or, you know, transcend into a job that pays them more. Actually giving somebody more job satisfaction when they're going from a really high paid job to doing something different can feel just as fulfilling.
Yeah, definitely. And I think on that particular course date, when I think back, there was someone who was 16. Then there was someone who was from like, you know, the engineering background. And then there was someone who was like in their 50s. And there was another girl who was like in her 50s as well. And she was like, I'm so glad that like there's someone else my age that I never thought there would be. I thought everyone would be 16. And I was like, no, it's for everyone. Like, you can be from any walk of life. You can, as long as you're interested in doing the craft and you're interested in doing the work and you're interested in nails, then yeah, it's for absolutely anyone, 16 and over. And that was like quite a day of like, oh wow, like we're getting a lot of different walks of life, and we're getting a lot of different ages and a lot of different personalities and things. And then I realized that like nails is like a love from like all women, like even men, like, you know.
So yeah, have you had many men do the qualification, or have you seen that increase?
No, but we've had lots of enquiries.
Right.
And I would really like for them to come and feel comfortable with us and do it. I mean, in some salons, there is predominantly men doing nails. I don't know if you've seen that before.
Yeah, I've seen like maybe some of the salons, it's like guys doing it.
Yeah.
Especially like the more Asian salons. Yeah, I've seen like there'll be like guys doing it, because there's a one near me, and I think there's like 2 guys and 2 women in there.
Yeah, so I imagine there'd be a lot of men who are interested in it that might inquire and might think, oh, I'm not going to go because it'll be all women. But we welcome everyone. We have men come in getting treatments off us, even though it's quite a girly salon. The Jasmine one isn't as girly. It's quite like minimal and things like that. But when we opened the Hebin one, it was girly. But this day and age, it's not like that. It's for everyone. So yeah, I think it's good to, you know that somewhere is going to make you feel comfortable no matter what walk of life you're from. And that's what I think is really, really good about it. I don't think that you need to, be scared to go to something like these women who are engineers that I was just talking about before. Yeah. They would have probably been scared to go to their first year because it might have been predominantly men. Yeah. But it's now getting so mixed.
It works both ways. Yeah. That's interesting. And have you seen the inquiries increase in like more recently, or has it been since you started?
I would say like 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you do see a lot more guys like with like more masculine kind of nail art. So they'll maybe have like their nails painted black with like, I've seen some people with like their nails painted black with like a white like snooker ball sort of thing on. Yeah. And it's not like, I don't know, you can tell that they're wearing like nail polish, but you don't kind of consider it to be
feminine.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It kind of looks like they're doing I don't know, it just doesn't look that.
Just following like the trend and like being unique and something different.
Like I've seen with like black like Chinese writing on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it didn't make me instantly think like, oh, that looks like they've had their nails done. I know that sounds stupid because obviously they had their nails done to do it, unless they ambidextrous and did it to both their hands themselves, which I doubt. So they've obviously had them done, do you know what I mean? But it was kind of just interesting to see because I didn't immediately think, oh, that's someone who's like had their nails done.
That's another thing that the industry's changed so fast as well in like terms of it would, back before I even opened, it would be different to have some man come and get his eyebrows done. But now it's like so normal. But,
yes.
Like maybe 20 years ago or something, before I even set up, it would have been a bit, oh, I'm doing a man's eyebrows, whereas now it's like just totally normal.
Yeah, there would have definitely been more stigma attached to that.
Yeah.
So what's the plan with the academy moving forward then? What's next for Allure?
Yeah, we are going to be doing gov-funded courses, which is really exciting because I have always wanted to tap into that, side of things where you can do a course and it's actually paid for by the government, because a lot of people this day and age as well, like obviously the cost of living crisis and things like that, might not have that spare cash to invest in a new career completely. They might be stuck in a job that, they're not really enjoying, they feel like there's no way out, and there is going to be a way out because you are going to be able to, apply for funding and do something that you enjoy, and you're not going to have to take that risk of, investing financial investing in a new skill financially and taking that huge risk.
I think it takes the pressure off people, absolutely, because it makes them feel like they're in a good position to kind of build up slowly as well. I feel like if you drop a lot of money on a qualification, you feel a heightened pressure to get going straight away, and sometimes that can take the enjoyment out of it. Industries like the industry that you're in, there is a high level of job satisfaction and a high level of pride in people's jobs. Like you can see yourself in terms of like the social media that goes out. I've looked at your pages and everything. There's clearly a lot of passion which goes into that, which not everybody's fortunate enough to feel passionate about what they do. And unfortunately, if you have that high cost of education, that could be sitting over your head. So you might want to rush into it quicker rather than kind of building up slowly, especially if you're in another employment. So just being able to utilize the government funding and not have to stump up the cash yourself can keep the enjoyment there and keep the reasons that people wanted to do it. And also open it up to people who might not have had the opportunity before to do it.
Yeah.
Reducing barriers, if you like, to accessing the education. Because obviously, it's no secret that there is a cost of living crisis, everything's going up. But, getting into a new career shouldn't feel unobtainable. for people.
If you really want to do something and there is that, financial barrier stopping you, I feel like to take that away for people is just massive. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
We have done things with our local council where we did a nail art workshop for kids who were in school.
Nice.
Or they have been kicked out of school, or they don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
Or they might just be in school and just actually think, I want to go and do a little nail art workshop. So it's for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, the eligibility criteria was that they had to be on free school meals.
Right.
So they got like food included, and we ran like a workshop with lots of kids that were absolutely in that element.
Yeah.
And it was just really, really fun. So I loved that side of things, which when obviously we chatted about the gov-funded courses, it was something that I thought is just going to really tie in nicely to our academy, where we can offer more in our area, especially because I think it is, one of the most unemployed areas in the country.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think these courses are massive for the Northeast because, it's it's not a particularly privileged area. So being able to offer something that people can kind of tap into and get on their feet, and especially with the global market that we live in now, where you can use your phone and you can get yourself out there as long as you've got some sort of trade which you can be, utilizing. No, I think that it's really good seeing that you're the kind of pushing this academy side of things, because you've got the background in not knowing what you wanted to do in education, not really enjoying the qualification that you are doing, getting the opportunity to do something you love, and being able to pass that on to other people who are in the same situation. You get a lot of people who are kind of labelled as being disinterested, misbehaved kids, when really they're just not engaged. They're just not interested in that side of things. Like, they're not interested in, history lessons, and they're not interested in science lessons, but there's something that they're extremely passionate about. And if you're really passionate about something, I'm sure you can testify to this, you can make a profession out of it.
Yeah.
And you can do well.
Yeah, I think when like kids are creative, especially, and they're like forced to go down like a university route or something like that, I think they just rebel. Like, I think they're just like, and also I think they end up finishing uni and doing something completely like the opposite of what they've studied. And I think that can sometimes stem from, not actually tapping into what you enjoy or tapping into your interests before making that decision. Because I think I was always thinking, well, I'll go to university, like I'll do this, but like there was nothing that I could think of that actually interested us. I would just be doing it just for the qualifications and just for the results, and then I might be stuck in a dead-end job. And that was like a big fear of mine.
Yeah, of course. And I think it's
I think that's why I quit things so quickly.
Because you just
because I had a fear that I was going to be doing something and wasting time on something that I didn't want to do.
Yeah. But I think obviously the position you were in, where your mum recognised that there was something that you were passionate about, was something that you were interested in, and then she gave you a helping hand to get started. Not everybody has that.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
everybody has somebody in their life who can recognise that and who has the levels of self-awareness to be like, well, Mel doesn't love what she's doing. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to,
force her.
Yeah, I'm not going to force her, but I'm not going to see that as a reflection on myself, because obviously sometimes a lot with education, like parents feel like they have a responsibility to make you do what they believe is best for you in terms of like going to university and things like that. But having the self-awareness to be like, she's going to do better in something she cares about. Let's figure out what she cares about and let's get her to do that. I think that's really amazing parenting. And I think that not everybody has that. So you guys being able to give people the option to come and do something that they're passionate about and telling them about it, it'll give people opportunities that they wouldn't have had before, because not everybody has a support system like that. So if your mom watches this, then big up
I
your
was
mom.
just thinking back to a memory, like as soon as you said like amazing parenting type thing, like my mum and dad.
Of her locking you in a bedroom for a full week, and maybe I've like got this all wrong.
No, honestly, but yeah, like maybe, but no, my dad probably.
Right, okay.
But no, my mum's like, oh, she is like literally a diamond. She actually is.
Yeah.
But she would, support me, and she was probably guiding me in a sense, but I just sort of thought I was in control and doing all these decisions. But I think my mum was sort of, you know, in the background, whereas my dad was like, she's quitting another course, like, what are we going to do with her? She's a terrible teenager.
She's going to be
like,
on the streets.
Yeah, like, she's just going to be like...
drinking white
ice.
ice.
Yeah. He was just like, do you know what I mean? Whereas my mum was
Yeah.
like, I'll help you, you know, like, I know what to do. Like, she probably seen that she was the same when she was that age, and she ended up going into hairdressing and she loved that. Now she's a spinning instructor because she like loved the gym so much. So I think she found that worked for her.
Yeah,
you know,
that's interesting. So is it Carly's mum as well?
Yeah.
So that's interesting that like
both of them ended up doing the same thing.
Well, also you've went into the hair and beauty industry. You've went in the
Yeah.
beauty industry. She was in the beauty industry, and then Carly's in the fitness industry. She's in the fitness. So like,
yeah, and then
you
my
guys
dad's a
are-
tattoo artist.
right? Okay, who's doing that next?
In a band and
Who's
a
going to do
boxer.
tattoo? Who's going to do tattoo artist next? For you guys, it's going to have to be one of you. You're going to have to follow in his
Do you know
footsteps.
what it is though? There is a thing that everyone's getting, you know, microblading, digital hair strokes, lip blush, all of those
Semi-permanent
kinds of
makeup
things.
and stuff.
And yeah, my dad was like, Mel, it's beauty. Why don't you get into it? He's always wanted me to follow in his footsteps and do like something to do with tattooing. So I was always like, as a child, like, I'm not. He was go, come in the shop, I'll show you how to tattoo. I was like, I'm not doing tattooing. Like, no, it's permanent on someone's skin. Like, I'm not doing that. And he's just like, I think he wanted a son.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? To take over his like tattoo legacy. But it didn't happen like that. So
Yeah. Oh well.
But yeah, I think me mum, what I was going to say was with the really good parenting was like sort of following and being like, right, I'll push you to there. Like she could relate. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I think my dad could as well, but he was a bit less patient anyway.
Yeah.
But when I say less patient, like you've got to like imagine for 7 years when I think back, they actually let me work in their house with strangers coming in and out and through the kitchen for 7 years, because I didn't just do mobile for 7 years before opening the salon. Did mobile, then made the decision to work from home, and basically worked in my mum and dad's conservatory and I couldn't believe when I actually worked it out, it was 7 years of that, you know.
Really?
Yeah, like one time me dad come running down the stairs like in his dressing gown. It's like it like practically open, and my client was walking through the door.
Oh no.
And that was the day that I actually went and looked at units.
Really? Was that it? That you had enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his house though, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know if you're putting that on, but I just think it's hilarious.
He hasn't like walked through your salon in his dressing gown. He's like walked through his house.
My client was just so oblivious.
Yeah.
She was just like, hi, Mel. And I was like, what's just happened? My dad was like, I just want me toast. Like, it was like one before he's getting ready for work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to go and like a unit
Today's the day.
And I went and I actually found that unit available where we are in Hebburn. And that was like it. And I rang them and I said, is it available? And they said, yeah. And I said, come and start, like, you know, getting things moving. And that was literally like the start of like, because I literally couldn't do that at my dad anymore or my client.
Yeah. I don't know who's more traumatized.
I don't think anything actually was, you know, seen, but
Yeah,
I knew that had
you
happened. Then the
knew,
whole hour appointment, I was just like, keep on replaying it. In my head.
Like that could have went so much worse. Yeah.
And I think my dad just was like, I thought it was starting when I leave the house, but I was like, I forgot to tell you today I was starting at 9. So normally I would start at 10 because he would be left for work by then.
Right.
That was
Well,
funny.
you've got your own place now, and hopefully he doesn't rock up in his dressing gown very often. So, no, I think I'm excited to see how you guys progress. I think you've got a great thing going on there. I think it's exciting, and I'm excited to see what happens. But well, thank you so much for coming in. It was a pleasure to have you, and hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
Cool, yeah. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.